you know, as an editorial assistant, like really you are your boss's right hand. That's your job, is and trying to supply all the things your boss might need during the course of the day, and be backup on any sort of editing work that they do. And at the same time, you're an apprentice because you're like watching all the editing work that they do, and you're seeing like, how do they phrase questions to the author, and why are they asking this and not that? What is important to ask questions about, and all this. So definitely, I was doing all of that. Like, what book 5 was the first book that we had the charity books, which were like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Quidditch Through the Ages. We worked on those, and I proved myself useful because I'm really detail oriented, and I have a background in copy editing to some extent. And so those things are both really useful when you're working with a big multifarious world. And so on book 5, I again like served as backup to Arthur, in the sense that the way we eventually described it was that like when you're editing, you have to keep track of both the facts and the feelings, you know, because like the facts of what's going on in the story greatly influence, and how real everything is greatly influence how you feel about it. You know, like if you're in a book and the hero suddenly pulls out a sword from nowhere, and you're like, wait a minute, he's been wearing a loincloth. Where was he carrying a sword? You know, like that sort of the lack of fact there and the underlying reality would impact your feeling about how awesome the moment might be when he pulls out a sword. So the way we eventually described it, or I described it, is that we like Arthur kept track of the feelings, and I took care of the facts. and obviously, like he was also keeping track of the facts too. Like that's just part of the editorial job. But like I was trying to keep track of all the things like, how is Bertie Bott's every flavor bean spelled? Like, do we leave the U in every flavor bean? Do we all the little, if you say Alohomora, what spell does that correspond to? What action should happen? Which hand does Harry carry his wand in? All of those sort of detail, factual things that we needed to try to keep consistent throughout this huge, gigantic world. I sort of took over some of that, and that allowed Arthur to concentrate on his relationship with J.K. Rowling and the feeling, the emotional experience that the reader was having.
So surely you don't start with Harry Potter. How many books are you working on and working with him before you get to, okay, now I'm all the way? And you were a Harry Potter fan, you said before. Were you a real big Potterhead, or were you a casual fan? Where was your level of fandom before you became a part of the family?
I was a reader fan. Like I had read all of the books. I first heard about the book when I was driving to college. Literally, I can tell you, I was driving to college with my roommate for our senior year, and she had book 3 in the back seat while she was driving, and so I started reading it, and that's how I got hooked on Harry Potter. And I read books 1 and 2 over the course. I finished book 3. I read books 1 and 2 over the course of the next year, and then I went to a midnight party for book 4. And right before I went to the Denver Publishing Institute. And then I spent most of the first day of the Denver Publishing Institute reading book 4. And I'm not sorry. And then, so...
Well, it was an important career move, although I don't know that you knew it at the time.
That's true. And I should say, when I say I'm not sorry, I say I am not sorry for my experience as a reader in that way, because I loved all the experience of reading those books, and I think I still love the experience of reading those books when I go back into them. But I will acknowledge up front that it is a different time now. Those books were written at a specific time, and time has moved on, and J.K. Rowling has moved on to a much different approach to where she seems to be really into transphobia now. And so while I love the book still, I totally understand people who have decided that they cannot love the books, or that they used to love the books and they regret it. and they've stepped back from J.K. Rowling altogether. Like, especially a lot of the younger Harry Potter fans I know who grew up on the series. It's been a really painful last year, I think, for a lot of people, and I'm really sorry about that.